What up? What up? Welcome back. Are we live? We are live. My bad. I know. It's a little loud. It's hard getting these things dialed in. You know what I mean? Welcome back, you guys. I'm your host, Keith. You're a man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, entertainment, yada, yada, yada. Here for another live reading by Candlelight. Of course, the candles are cast and poured by yours truly. If you guys are new to the channel, as per usual, it takes us about 10-15 minutes before we get going to give people a chance to come into the room. If you're new, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and if not, I thank you guys for at least considering to join the squad. It means a lot. We do this kind of thing all the time. Read stories, commentary, fill in the gaps, have fun, drink wine, roll up oregano. It's fun here. It's fun. So I guess what I'm getting at is I would love you guys to join the squad. Take your shoes off, and stay a while. And for you guys who've been with us for a while, welcome back. Welcome home. And thank you guys for being here. Once again, you could be anywhere in the entire planet, but you are choosing to be here with us. And for that, I salute you. And thank the shit out of you, because your continued support is really helping the channel grow. We're doing big things and we're slowly taking over the world. Shout out to y'all. That being said, what up, squad? I'm sure there's a couple of you guys that are in here already. How you doing? When you guys see me pulling my phone out, I'm reading you guys' comments. When you guys see me. All right, Campos, what up? Jennifer Pete. Hello, how's it going? Nice to see you. How you guys doing? Ooh, so far it looks like it's just the three of us holding it down in here. How you guys doing? Did you have a good Monday? It's Monday, right? You guys do all the things you wanted to do? Hopefully Monday wasn't too much of a drag for you. My Monday went pretty damn good. Come on, baby. Blow it on. Come on, baby. What up, Too Sweet? Yeah, time's going by hella fast. Oh, Too Sweet. I'll get that rosemary oil out to you tomorrow. I haven't really had time to settle down since last night's live. Got home from work, showered, got my shit together, didn't even eat yet. Hopped on the live. Here we are. So tomorrow I have the day off, so I'll be able to catch up with a lot of stuff. And I'll get you a custom rosemary order going out to you. Might have to distill some more because I don't have much left. But yeah, sit tight. Flory, what up? Salavi Studio, hello. Always stoked to see everyone. Say hello to Salavi Studio because she's been holding it down for a while. And she's lent quite a bit of information and knowledge to the channel, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Come on, baby. Holy hopscotch, Batman. Trying to fill out the jazzy lo-fi chill hip hop beats for the background music tonight, just to spice it up a bit, keep a cool vibe going, but still kind of melancholy, I do love those melancholy vibes a lot. So here we go. Come on, come on, come on, baby. Come on, come on, come on, darling. Slow down. We're almost done with the Kybalion, you guys. We don't have that much more left to it. Huh. McDonald's did an April Fool's joke where they said they were coming out with a pickle burger. Imagine a Big Mac, but in place of the meat, it was just a shit ton of pickles. And I guess some people in Australia got pissed because it was a joke. Thought that was kind of funny. Kybalion Index. Y'all hear about that Nipsey Hussle thing? I was looking into it. Nah. Shit wasn't gang related. Shit wasn't personal. I just saw it ad on my phone right now. That's why I brought it up. Police say Nipsey Hussle likely knew his killer and that it was a personal attack. Get the fuck out of here. Homeboy was doing a documentary on Dr. Sebi, who I've been researching the hell out of the past couple hours, and Dr. Sebi cured all kinds of shit and proved it and won it in court. Of course, he ends up dying very shadily in a Honduran prison. Nipsey Hussle is like, yo, if I die, you know what happened. Homeboy died, and now I'm doing a documentary on Dr. Sebi to show how he was killing it. And then, of course, Nipsey Hussle gets shot. Get the fuck out of here. You guys know damn well what happened with him. But we push on. We push on. Fuck, this chapter looks long. And a bit technical. My government name is Jennifer. That's funny. I refer to never mind. Damn, my girl Left Eye though? Why you gotta bring up Left Eye? Got a soft spot for Left Eye. Yup. Yeah, they fucked up by you can't kill Dr. Sebi after some shit like that, after he discovers a cure for all kinds of stuff and wins in a court of law twice. And then kill the dude making a documentary on that, and then not have people look up fucking what these guys were researching that got them killed. So, I don't know. Or if they were smart. No, never mind. Never mind. I'm not going to say that out loud. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm going to step out of the room for 1 second. You guys talk amongst yourselves. If anyone joins the room, let them know we're not talking to no one. And that Man of Letters will be back in just a minute. I'm going to go grab myself a Brewkowski. What up? All right, what's up, you guys? You ready to crack this bad boy off or what? What up? All right. Sorry. um. Alicia. What up, girl? How you doing? How the fam? How the kids? How's life? I hope everything's going well for you. Jake the Snake. We're gonna have a little bounce to the reading tonight with this hip hop in the background. I feel like it's gonna have a little bit of giddy up. Busy is good if that's what you want. I guess it's better than the alternative, at least in my case. Cool, you guys. I'm waiting on y'all to let me know when to start, by the way. I think it's been about 15 minutes since the get-go. What it do? Oh, that sweet oregano. Is this a dab pen? No, it's not a dab pen. Dab pen. I don't do that. I don't do dabs. I don't do weed. It's for silly people. Only silly people do weed. You sillies. You bunch of sillies doing your silly weeds. That's why they're called weeds, because no one wants them. You're supposed to pull them out of the lawn. I don't do weeds. No, we just drink all the liquor in the world. That's no, I'm just kidding. Don't do the weed, do the oregano. All right. It's good for antibacterial. It's good for your teeth. For real, though, oregano is good for your teeth. Like oregano. Not oregano, but oregano is really good for the teeth and shit. Ooh, I do love me a tasty guitar jam, you know what I mean? All right. Chapter 6. The Divine Paradox. This one's confusing as fuck. I had to read this chapter a lot to wrap my head around it. It's a little more on the philosophy of logic side of things. So I'm hoping it's not too dry. It might be a little bit dry. I'll try to spice it up with the reading, but I can't make any promises. Yeah. And here we go. Chapter 6, The Divine Paradox, the Kybalion, written by the three initiates, 1911. This is a Liverbox recording. Just kidding, this is not a Liverbox recording. This is a Man of Letters recording. We don't do that Liverbox shit here. Although Liverbox does have some dank-ass recordings. You guys should check out their YouTube channel. But they don't make them themselves. A bunch of different people make them. We make ours ourselves here. Damn it. Phone's messing up. All right. The half-wise recognize the comparative unreality of the universe. Imagine that they may define its laws. Such are vain and presumptuous fools, and they are broken against the rocks and torn asunder by the elements by reason of their folly. The truly wise, knowing the nature of the universe, use law against law, the higher against the lower, and by the art of alchemy transmute that which is undesirable into that which is worthy, and thus triumph. Mastery consists not in abnormal dreams, you guys, visions and fantastic imaginings or living, but in using the higher forces against the lower, escaping the pains of the lower planes by vibrating on the higher. Transmutation, not presumptuous denial, is the weapon of the master. Bada bing, bada boom. That's the opening quote for this chapter, and it is beautifully stated. I'm going to read that last part again because it's where the teachings of the Kybalion and Hermeticists take a fork in the road with spirituality, New Age spirituality, and Hermeticism, right? There's a fork in the road, and this is where that fork goes. And I'll read it again. Mastery consists not in abnormal dreams, visions, and fantastic imaginings or living, but in using the higher forces against the lower, escaping the pains of the lower planes by vibrating on the higher. Transmutation, not presumptuous denial, is the weapon of the master. And we continue. This is the paradox of the universe, resulting from the principle of polarity, which manifests when the all begins to create. Hearken to it, for it points the difference between half wisdom and wisdom. While to the infinite all, the universe, its laws, its powers, its life, its phenomena, are as things witnessed in the state of meditation or dream, yet to all that is finite, the universe must be treated as real, and life and action and thoughts must be based thereupon accordingly, although with an ever understanding of the higher truth, each according to its own plane and laws. Were the all to imagine that the universe was indeed reality, then woe be to the universe, for there would be then no escape from lower to higher, divineward. Then would the universe become a fixity, and progress would become impossible. And if man, owing to half wisdom, acts and lives and thinks of the universe as merely a dream, akin to his own finite dreams, then indeed does it so become for him. And like a sleepwalker, he stumbles ever around and around in a circle, making no progress, and being forced into an awakening at last by his falling, bruised, and bleeding over the natural laws which he ignored. Keep your mind ever on the star, but let your eyes watch over your footsteps, lest you fall into the mire by reason of your upward gaze. Remember the divine paradox, that while the universe is not, still it is. Remember ever the two poles of truth, the absolute and the relative. Beware of half-truths. Gold. I'm going to stop right there. Stop right there. I've made a video on this before, and this is exactly where I got it from. This idea again, the fork in the road with New Age spiritualism and Hermeticists is this is a definitive one. Right? There seems to be this idea that nothing is real. It's like, okay, we all live in the dream. It's all the Matrix. Nothing is real. Nothing is real. It's all an illusion. We're in a dream. And it's like, yes, but there is an air of unimportance in the way they say that. There is a hint of it doesn't matter. Since it's a dream, it doesn't matter. Since it's all an illusion, it doesn't matter. And it fucking does matter. It matters because we're here, right? It doesn't. And so in that chapter, it says, if the all were to imagine the universe as being real, as being the substantial existence, that there would be no more upward movement. I don't really want to look back and find where it says that because it was kind of far back. But what it means by that is real is unchanging. For something to be real, to be true with a capital T, it must always be true. If something is ever not true, then it's not true. Then it's always a half truth. For example, is it true that fire burns? No, because fire doesn't always burn, right? I could put on a heat-resistant glove, and I would put my glove over the fire, or put my hand over the fire, and my hand would not burn. So fire has a tendency to burn, but fire does not always burn. If you put water onto a fire, for example, does fire burn the water? No, the water extinguishes the fire. So fire has a tendency to burn, but it is not true with a capital T that fire burns. Nothing in the universe is true with the capital T. And the reason for that is because everything in the universe is changing. The only constant is change, which helps to conceptualize what the all is. If the only constant is change, then the constant is the all, is God, is that undefinable thing from which all change is coming. That's what it is. It is the constant. So if it were to imagine the universe as being a constant like itself, there would be no change. So it says, woe to your dumbass, my bad, dumbass, people who say the universe isn't real, like woe to their dumbasses if the universe were to be a real thing, because then you wouldn't be able to rise, because you can't rise in something that is fixed, something that is real, actually real, unchanging. The substantial reality of a thing does not change. Therefore, you can't rise up in something that does not change. You can't go down in something that does not change, because to go up would be to change positions. To go down would be to change positions. That there is change allows for, the infinite amount of different possibilities that happen in the universe. So that's a wonderful thing. And it's also worth noting that while the universe is technically a dream, or we're existing in a thought, a sort of illusion, it's not the illusion of a finite mind. You and I have finite minds and imagine finite dreams. But the infinite dream that we're in is real to us. Like if I jump out of my window head first and slam into the ground, my neck will shatter into a million pieces and I will die. And that's some real shit. You know what I mean? On some aspect, it's not real. You could argue whatever the fuck you want because we live in an infinite universe, but it's real. And there are laws that we must follow in order to get what we want, which this chapter started out with. It says we're not here to imagine fanciful ideas. We're not here to, to overdo the dreams and the whimsical things, but to apply law against law, right? We can't break the laws, but we use them. We become, like I always say, the chess player instead of the chess piece. We apply higher laws to transmute the lower ones. And then when we get to the next stage, there is another stage above us. Then we use the higher laws of that place to change the ones that we're at. Somewhere in this text, we'll get to it if I haven't gotten to it already. It says, the master Any master of his or her plane is a servant to the plane above them. Um, I'll try to think of a good scenario. So we'll think of like the Renaissance period. You had a knight, right, who were the masters to like peasants and shit, right? A knight was a godly thing to a peasant. But the knight served his lord. So the lord was the master, right? He dictated everyone that was lower than him. But who does the Lord serve? The Lord serves the king. So while he dominates his level and everything underneath it, he's a servant to the next plane. And who does the king serve? Well, he's on top of everyone, but the king, in theory, serves God, the Most High. So he is a servant to God, but he is a king and master to everything below him. And that's what Hermeticists do. We are the masters of everything below us and servants to those above us, not in the bad sense, but just in the sense that, I don't know. Sorry, I feel like that was a really long tangent for when we're fucking like 10% of the way through the chapter. So I'll continue. What Hermeticists know as the law of the paradox is an aspect of the principle of polarity. The Hermetic writings are filled with references to the appearance of the paradox and the consideration of the problems of life and being. The teachers are constantly warning their students against the error of omitting the other side of any question, and their warnings are particularly directed to the problems of the absolute and relative, which perplex all students of philosophy and which cause so many to think and act contrary to what is generally known as common sense. And we caution all students to be sure to grasp the divine paradox of the absolute and relative, lest they become entangled in the mire of half-truth. With this in view, this particular lesson has been written. Read it carefully. So we have just gotten the thesis of this entire chapter, which is there is an absolute reality and there is a relative reality. And we must understand that there are the two things. We must understand what they mean and how to proceed forward with them so that we don't get caught up in half truths. So, the first thought that comes to the thinking man after he realizes the truth that the universe is a mental creation of the all is that the universe and that all it contains is a mere illusion and unreality. Against. Damn it. My bad, you guys. Hold on. Can you still see me? Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. The first thought that comes to the thinking man after he realizes, well, yada, yada, again, my bad, is that the universe and all that it contains is a mere illusion and unreality, against which idea his instincts revolt. But this, like all other great truths, must be considered both from the absolute and relative points of view. From the absolute viewpoint, of course, the universe is in the nature of an illusion, a dream, a phantasmagoria, as compared to the all itself. So that's one side. That yes, the absolute is yes, of course, the universe is a dream. We recognize this even in our ordinary view, for we speak of the world as a fleeting show that comes and goes, is born and dies. For the element of impermanence and change, finiteness and unsubstantiality must ever be connected with the idea of a created universe when it is contrasted with the idea of the all. No matter what may be our beliefs concerning the nature of both, philosopher, metaphysician, scientist, and theologian all agree upon this idea. And the thought is found in all forms of philosophical thought and religious conceptions, as well as in the theories of the respective schools of metaphysics and theology. That is, this idea of a fleeting and changing and unsubstantial universe. So, The Hermetic teachings do not preach the unsubstantiality of the universe in any stronger terms than those more familiar to you because you already know them. Although the presentation of the subject may seem somewhat more startling. Anything that has a beginning and an ending must be, in a sense, unreal and untrue. And again, because it's not everlasting, something must be, again, everlasting for it to be true. Shit. Whenever I side tangent, I lose my spot. Okay. From the absolute point of view, there is nothing real except the all. No matter what terms we may use in thinking of or discussing the subject, whether the universe be created of matter or whether it be a mental creation in the mind of the all, it is unsubstantial, non-enduring, a thing of time, space, and change. We want you to realize this fact thoroughly. Before you pass judgment on the Hermetic conception of the mental nature of the universe, think over any and all of the other conceptions and see whether this be true of them. But the absolute point of view shows merely one side of the picture. The other side is the relative one. Absolute truth has been defined as things as the mind of God knows them, while relative truth is things as the highest reason of man understands them. And so while the universe must be unreal. Oh, I'm sorry. And so while to the all, the universe must be unreal and illusionary, a mere dream or result of meditation. Nevertheless, to the finite minds, yours and ours, yours and mine, forming a part of that universe and viewing it through mortal faculties, the universe is very real indeed and must be so considered. In recognizing the absolute view, we must not make the mistake of ignoring or denying the facts and phenomena of the universe as they present themselves to our mortal faculties. We are not the all, remember. To take familiar illustrations, we all recognize the fact that matter exists, in quotations, to our senses. We will fare badly if we do not. And yet, even our finite minds understand the scientific dictum that there is no such thing as matter from a scientific point of view. That which we call matter is held to be merely an aggregation of atoms, which atoms themselves are merely a grouping of units of force called electrons or ions, vibrating and in constant circular motion. We kick a stone and we feel the impact. It seems to be real, notwithstanding that we know it to be merely what we have stated above. But remember that our foot, which feels the impact by means of our brains, is likewise matter, so constituted of electrons, and for that matter, so are our brains. And at the best, if it were not by reason of our mind, we would not know the foot or stone at all. You guys got that right. I don't have to dig too deep into that one because that was a mouthful. Shit, I lost my spot. Basically, it's saying that one's hard to kind of wrap my head around. Especially just giving another example of how things are and are not at the same time. We feel our hand and we think it's solid, but now because of quantum physics, we know, or even regular physics, we know that our atoms are made of 99% space. And if the nucleus of an atom was the size of a tennis ball, then the fucking outer ring of the electrons would be something like a football stadium surrounding that tennis ball. And so from the rotating electrons, think you have a football stadium. That's the orbit of the electrons. At the center of that football stadium is a fucking tennis ball, and that's the nucleus. So you have, and that's a modest guess. I think it's actually a few miles, right? So from the tennis ball to the edge of the stadium, you have empty space. Now, the edge of the stadium meets against another orbiting group of electrons, right? Because electrons are stacked against each other. So the edge meets another orbit of electrons, and the fucking middle of the next football stadium is the next nucleus. So between two nuclei, which is actual physical stuff, you have two football stadiums of nothing but space. And that's what we're made of. Our hands are made of fucking electrons that are mostly space, but we can punch shit and it feels real. That's what that paragraph was getting at, is that there's an absolute reality and then there's a relative reality. And we must not get caught up in the absolute reality, which is nothing is real, we're all in a dream, nothing matters. It's like, again, yeah, motherfucker, it does. Like, if I punch you in the face, it's gonna hurt. Because there is a relative reality, and that relative reality is I'm about to punch you in the face, and you're gonna feel it. That was not an illusion. So we will carry on. I'm not reading any of you guys' comments at the time being. I'm just kind of pushing through. I have to close out of the text to read your guys' comments. So I'll actually do that in a second. Continuing. Then again, the ideal of the artist or sculptor, which he is endeavoring to reproduce in stone or on canvas, seems very real to him. So do the characters in the mind of the author or dramatist, which he seeks to express so that others may recognize them. And if this be true in the case of our finite minds, what must be the degree of reality in the mental images created in the mind of the infinite? Oh, friends, to mortals, this universe of mentality is very real indeed. It is the only one we can ever know, though we rise from plane to plane higher and higher in it to know it otherwise. But actual experience, we must be the all itself. It is true that the higher we rise in this scale, the nearer to the mind of the Father we reach, the more apparent becomes the illusory nature of finite things. But not until the all finally withdraws us into itself does the vision actually vanish. So, we need not dwell upon the feature of illusion. Rather, let us, recognizing the real nature of the universe, seek to understand its mental laws and endeavor to use them to the best effect in our upward progress through life as we travel from plane to plane of being. The laws of the universe are nonetheless iron laws because of the mental nature. All except the all are bound by them. What is in the infinite mind of the all is real in a degree second only to that reality itself, which is vested in the nature of the all. It's fucking real, you guys. It's an illusion to the all, it's real to us. If I could sum all that up, that's what it's saying. Our existence is a dream to the all itself, but to us, it's real. I'm actually going to check you guys' comments just in case you can't even hear me. And I'm just like, if I accidentally, can you imagine if I unplugged my mic and you guys just like, Keyth, we can't hear you. And I've just been fucking going hard in the paint for days now. Ooh, Destiny Champion. What up, Junior? What up, Sonia Villalpando? Hola, what up? Nice to see you. There is no spoon. Smoke some oregano. Yow! Okay, you guys are still hearing me, right? Candy Mikowski, one of my favorite names as far as the YouTube subscribers go. What it do? All right. I'm gonna continue, you guys. Just making sure you guys can hear me. I'm actually gonna un momento. I do like this vibe that we got going with the chill hop, but it wasn't quite what I was feeling. Something a little more hip hop, down tempo, melancholy, kind of rainy cafe style. Not necessarily like, this is a little more something bouncy. Less bounce, more feel. This might be what I'm looking for. I think. Give me a second. We gotta feel this one out. I was going for the taste. I was looking for something a little tasty. And this one's doing it for me. So we will push. Let me know if the music's too loud, by the way. This one might be too good. I might not be able to concentrate. Just kidding. We got this shit. Okay, so do not feel insecure or afraid. We are all held firmly in the infinite mind of the all, and there is no not to hurt us or for us to fear. There is no power outside of the all to affect us, so we may rest calm and secure. There is a world of comfort and security in this realization when once attained. Then calm and peaceful do we sleep, rocked in the cradle of the deep, resting safely on the bosom of the ocean of infinite mind, which is the all. In the all, indeed, do we live and move and have our being. Matter is none the less matter to us. While we dwell on the plane of matter, although we know it to be merely an aggregation of electrons or particles of force vibrating rapidly and gyrating around each other in the formations of atoms. The atoms in turn vibrating and gyrating, forming molecules, which latter in turn form larger masses of matter. Nor does matter become less matter when we follow the inquiry still further and learn from the Hermetic teachings that the force of which the electrons are but units is merely a manifestation of the mind of the all, and like all else in the universe is purely mental in its nature. While on the plane of matter we must recognize its phenomena, we may control matter, as all masters of higher or lesser degree do, but we do so by applying the higher forces. We commit a folly when we attempt to deny the existence of matter in the relative aspect. We may deny its mastery over us, and rightly so, but we should not attempt to ignore it in its relative aspect, at least so long as we dwell upon its plane. All right. Nor do the laws of nature become less constant or effective when we know them, likewise, to be merely mental creations. They are in full effect on the various planes. We overcome the lower laws by applying still higher ones, and in this way only. We cannot escape law or rise above it entirely. Nothing but the all can escape law. And that is because the all is law itself, from which all laws emerge. The most advanced masters may acquire the powers usually attributed to gods of men, and there are countless ranks of being and the great hierarchy of life, whose being and power transcends even that of the mightiest masters among men to a degree unthinkable by mortals. But even the highest master and the highest being must bow to the law and be nothing in the eye of the all. So that if even these highest beings, whose powers exceed even those attributed by men to their gods, even if these are bound by and are subservient to law, then imagine the presumption of mortal man of our race and grade when he dares to consider the laws of nature as unreal, visionary, and illusory, because he happens to be able to grasp the truth that the laws are mental in nature and simply mental creations of the all. Those laws which the all intends to be governing laws are not to be defied or argued away. So long as the universe endures, will they endure. For the universe exists by virtue of these laws which form its framework and which hold it together. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you. The rules of the game does not change, only our role, only our vantage point, only our um, our playing field. The playing field may change, the rules don't change. Your vibration may change, but you will still find the same problems. Um, one of the talking points that's been fucking beaten into the ground online is this idea of duality and escaping duality and rising above duality. I think I heard, Jesus, oh my God. I hate to call people out, but I also don't give a fuck. Like if you're gonna put yourself online, then like you shouldn't care. Like I don't care when people call me out. Like I'm putting myself online. Like of course I'm gonna be fucking challenged. Aaron Daughtry, whatever the fuck that guy's name is. Um, just saw a video of his the other day, and it was like, he starts going on about raising vibration and getting to the next dimension, the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension, depending upon whether or not you think the fourth dimension is actually time. But he doesn't even tell you which it is. He just kind of like parrots what everyone else says. Um, and in the fifth dimension, you're supposed to somehow escape polarity. Like, how the fuck you can't escape polarity? Like, as long as you're existing, there's going to be polarity. Anytime anything comes into existence, there is polarity. Like, to say there's no polarity is to say that there is only one thing. And the all is the only one thing. But in this mental construct of the all, this infinite universe and the infinite universes that extend from the all, there, no matter what plane you're in, you could be down in hell or up in heaven, there is going to be polarity. There are going to be opposites of things. There must be opposites of things. You must have something that defines you. You know, you look at you look at a page on a book. You look at a coloring book. Page is colored. You take away the color, what do you have? Right? The color is one form of distinction. Take away the color, what do you have? Just lines on the paper. Take away the lines, what do you have? White forever. Sameness forever. You can't have that out here because it's not the same. Everything's fucking changing, and you there's just I just need to smoke some oregano. I think that's what it is. I get worked up over some of these people online, and I'm like, come on. Thank Praise Jah for the herbs, the healing herbs of the nation. But yeah, you guys, you're not going to escape polarity. I don't care if you go to the next dimension. I don't care how long you meditate for. I don't care how many psychedelic drugs you do. You can take them to your blue in the face. There's going to be duality and polarity until oneness decides to suck you back into it and you are a part of the infinite being. And then, of course, you will lose polarity. But until then, you just kicking it with the rest of us. And it's fucking beautiful out here, you guys. One of the cool things about living in an infinite universe is that we can grow infinitely higher, like it said in that last chapter. It says that there's beings in existence that are so powerful that we haven't even imagined the things that they can do. We have someone like Zeus, right? Zeus is a piss poor fucking example of a god. I might offend a lot of people, and I know my language is kind of abrupt, but even the God of the Bible is not a very well put together God. At least the Old Testament. Like, the God of the Old Testament was susceptible to flattery, was susceptible to jealousy, fucking rage. The God of the Old Testament killed so many more people than the devil did. Like, he only chose, there was, what is there, 12 races, and he only picked the Hebrews. So he only picked one of 12 people. So he only picked fucking less than 10% of the population on Earth, supposedly, to be his chosen people. How fucked up is that, to be the sole creator of everything in existence and then only pick one group of people out of 12 on Earth? Like, what? That's a fucking, that's I'm not saying that person didn't exist, right? Who knows? There could have been fucking someone that we called the creator of everything who seemed like a god only because they were further advanced than we are. But what this is getting at is that there's beings and entities that are so far beyond you that you haven't even imagined them yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we can't even, we're thinking about them with human minds, and that's why we attribute human characteristics to God. Like, you have to pray to him or he's gonna smite you, or you have to sacrifice your fucking child to this person or the sun's not gonna rise. Like, do you think for a moment that the original, that the fucking thing that created, you can't even imagine what everything is, but there's something that created everything. So you want to imagine what that thing is? The creator of infinity? You can't even comprehend infinity, and you want to comprehend the creator of that thing? Get the fuck out of here. And to give it human emotions like jealousy? What? Plants don't have jealousy. Like, to have the audacity to say that the creator is like us is fucking crazy, you guys. It's crazy. Like, it's I don't know. I would say it keeps me up at night, but it doesn't, because I sleep like a babe. Like a babe that doesn't wake up 6 times in the middle of the night to feed. Not that kind of babe. Yeah, by the way, I don't know why people say fucking sleep like a baby, because my newborn doesn't fucking sleep like a baby. He sleeps like someone that wakes up all the time. And screams and poops. Like, that doesn't seem like a good thing to sleep like a baby. Now that I have a baby, shit's real. I don't want to sleep like a baby. I want to sleep not like a baby, like an adult who doesn't have a baby. That's who I would like to sleep like. Anywho, carrying on. The Hermetic principle of mentalism, while explaining the true nature of the universe upon the principle that all is mental, does not change the scientific conceptions of the universe, life, or evolution. In fact, science merely corroborates the Hermetic teachings. The latter merely teaches that the nature of the universe is mental, while modern science has taught that it is mental, or that it is energy at the last analysis. Modern day, the Hermetic teachings have no fault to find with the Herbert Spencer's basic principle, which postulates the existence of an infinite and eternal energy from which all things proceed. In fact, the Hermetics recognize in Spencer's philosophy the highest outside statement of the workings of the natural laws that have ever been promulgated, and they believe Spencer to have been a reincarnation of an ancient philosopher who dwelt in ancient Egypt thousands of years ago, and who later incarnated as Heraclitus, the Grecian philosopher who lived BC 500. And they regard his statement of the infinite and eternal energy as directly in line with the Hermetic teachings, always with the addition of their own doctrine that his energy is the energy of the mind of the all. With the master key of the Hermetic philosophy, the student of Spencer will be able to unlock many doors of the inner philosophical conceptions of the great English philosopher, whose work shows the results of the preparation of his previous incarnations. His teachings regarding evolution and rhythm are in almost perfect agreement with the Hermetic teachings regarding the principle of rhythm, which is pretty cool. It's basically saying some dude from the early 1900s was just on top of this shit, but explaining the Hermeneutics through a scientific lens. Which, by the way, is also why I'm so big on Hermetics, is because this shit is science doesn't disprove of any of the Hermetic philosophy. That there are opposites of things. Of course, there are opposites of things. Of course, you can only define something by its opposite. You only know hot from cold, and that's a scientific fact. We know heat, or we know cold as the absence of heat energy, for one example of an infinite amount of examples. And we know that everything starts in the mind with vibrations. We know that in quantum physics. We know about the law of rhythm, which says you'll always bounce back and forth between polar opposites by saying, okay, well, if you have a high tide, you must have a low tide, right? Otherwise, why would you call it high tide? You would just say it's a fucking tide. Or you wouldn't have a tide at all, because a tide implies whether something's going up or down. So there's science corroborates perfectly with the Hermetic philosophy. Continuing along. So the student of Hermetics needs not lay aside any of his cherished scientific views regarding the universe. All he is asked to do is to grasp the underlying principle of the all is mind. The universe is mental, held in the mind of the all. He will find that the other 6 of the 7 principles will fit into his scientific knowledge and will serve to bring out obscure points and throw light in the dark corners. This is not, however, to be wondered at. When we realize the influence of the Hermetic thought of the early philosophers of Greece, upon whose foundations of thought the theories of modern science largely rest, the acceptance of the first Hermetic principle, mentalism, is the only great point of difference between modern science and Hermetic students. And science is gradually moving toward the Hermetic position in its groping in the dark for a way out of the labyrinth into which it has wandered in its search for reality. Where are we at? Almost done, yeah. All right, let me just. I was checking you guys' comments to make sure something didn't go wrong. The purpose of this. What happened to my jams? Sorry, guys. Give me a second here. Oh, my computer's fucking. It's great. I need to fix it. All right. Oh man, I keep getting whiffs of this rosemary oil, and I'm like transported. Shit. All right, you guys, let's continue. My bad. I just went on a fucking journey inside my mind for a second, but I'm back now. Okay. The purpose of this lesson is to impress upon the minds of our students the fact that, to all intents and purposes, the universe and its laws and its phenomena are just as real so far as man is concerned as they would be under the hypothesis of materialism or energism. Under any hypothesis, the universe in its outer aspect is changing, ever flowing, and transitory. This is a fucking nice ass tune. Oh, it's too good. You guys want to know what existence is? What it all is? This is it. If y'all only knew, The purpose of this lesson is to impress upon the minds of our students the fact that, to all intents and purposes, the universe and its laws and its phenomena are just as real. I'm never going to finish this shit. Keep fucking dropping these tasty ass little licks like that. It's not going to happen. We're not getting through this thing. Oh man, it's too funny. But under the same hypothesis, we are compelled to act and live as if the fleeting things were real and substantial. With this difference always between the various hypotheses that under the old views of mental power was ignored as a natural force, while under mentalism it becomes the greatest natural force. And this one difference revolutionizes life to those who understand the principle and its resulting laws and practice. So finally, students all, grasp the advantage of mentalism and learn to know, use, and apply the laws resulting therefrom. But do not yield to the temptation which, as the Kybalion states, overcomes the half-wise and which causes them to be hypnotized by the apparent unreality of things. The consequence being that they wander about like dream people, dwelling in the world of dreams, ignoring the practical work and life of man. The end being, they are broken against the rocks and torn asunder by the elements by reason of their folly. Fucking important, you guys. Again, this is what I've seen through my 20s, which was the side of spirituality that was like, oh, it's all an illusion, like we can do whatever we want, it's not real, and like I'm just gonna have all these sort of fantastic ideas. And again, that's only the half truth. It's not now until I fucking finally hit 30 or so, actually close to my late 20s, where I was like, all right, it's more than that. That was half of it, right? Not that those things are bad. Those things are fucking amazing. Like I thrive off of those things that I was just talking shit about. But I don't thrive when that's all I focus on. When I forget about the realness of this reality, I forget that, yeah, while this is a dream, I'm still at the mercy of the laws of this reality. And it's not dreaming and fantastic ideas that will pull me into a new reality. It's not whimsical thoughts that will raise my vibration. It's applying the law that I have learned to overcome other laws. You use law against law to rise to the next plane. And then again, when you get to the next plane, now you do the same thing. You apply law to overcome law all the way up. So fucking a million lifetimes from now, humans are no more than slime mold that you would find on the bottom of an old chewed up lunchbox in a fucking psych ward from the 1920s. Very specific, but you know what I mean. Um, not by whimsical thinking, but by applying law to law. So finally, students. Oh wait, I already read that shit. The quotations are from the Kybalion. Damn it! Did I lose my spot again? Okay, mastery consists not in abnormal dreams, visions, and fantastic imaginings or living. Wait, I read that part. Okay, we do not live in a world of dreams, but in a universe which, while relative, is real so far as our lives and actions are concerned. Our business in the universe is not to deny its existence, but to live, using the laws to rise from lower to higher, living on, doing the best that we can under the circumstances arising each day, and living so far as possible to our biggest ideas and ideals. The true meaning of life is not known to men on this plane, if indeed to any. But the highest authorities and our own intuitions teach us that we will make no mistake in living up to the best that is in us, so far as is possible, and realizing the universal tendency in the same direction in spite of apparent evidence to the contrary. We are all on the path, and the road leads upward ever, with frequent resting places. Read the message of the Kybalion, and follow the example of the wise, avoiding the mistake of the half-wise, who perish by reason of their folly. End. Sorry, you guys. I'm catching up from your comments from from 9:33. This one was posted, and it's almost 10 now. So, oh man, my beer's gone. All right. I'm gonna answer your questions that seem, or well, questions. And I'm gonna overlook your guys' statements. Keep leaving all the statements you want. I love the input. Get open dialogue. This is good to kind of get our minds going. And then I'll answer the questions. So J2 Sweet asks, but what if higher dimensions are slowly but surely reintegrating with the all? Well, according to the Hermeticists, and this part I haven't necessarily been able to wrap my head around, but I guess it makes sense to me. Higher dimensions don't ever meet with the all. I know that's kind of hard. How would I explain this? Give me a second. It's a good question. The question is, what about the higher dimensions meeting, eventually hitting the all? And the answer to that is the higher dimensions never. We don't ever get there. And the Buddhists say that shit all the time. The Buddhist answer is because we're already there, which still abides by Hermetic philosophy. We are there because we're thoughts of the all. Like we will always be a part of the all because we are it. I mean, we are not it, but we are extensions of it. Like Shakespeare is always going to be. Hamlet is always going to be Shakespeare. Romeo and Juliet, it's always going to be Shakespeare. But do you think Romeo and Juliet are going to rise out of the book and become them? No. Like the only way they can be completely absorbed into Shakespeare is to have every piece of Romeo and Juliet burned, wiped off the face of the earth, and then they will go back to existing only as Shakespeare himself. And that's the only way we will get back to the all, is when it decides to pull us into it. Because we live in a infinite universe, we can go forever down and we can go forever up. It's infinite, you guys. The degree or the rate or the level of extraordinary is endless. Which is why when I made that example earlier about the god of the Bible, or like Zeus, or fucking, who's the other big one from Norse mythology? Not Thor, Odin. His pops, like all these guys. They were superhuman. I'll give them that. But what if there's another race? I'm sure there are races out there that start off superhuman, and their greats are something we can't even think of. And this is what is in existence. Because we live in an infinite universe, there are things that we can't even imagine that are so much greater than we are. And that's our destiny. Because we all rise, we all push for oneness, but we don't quite get there. It's like, even math explains this. You take 2 and you divide it by 2, you get 1. Right? Yeah. Divide 1 in half, you get 0.5. Divide 0.5 in half, you get 0.25. Divide 0.25 in half, you get, fuck is that? 0.50. You can divide a number into infinity. And as long as you have something that will measure small space, where do you meet, right? You can divide to infinity. Which means this is actually a really weird thing to wrap your head around. It's a part of the science of there's a philosophy of everything, you guys. And one of the philosophies of math is this weird conundrum that mathematicians figured out, where they were like, yo, we can divide a number in half till infinity. And we can prove that with math, which is like the best thing we have for proof in this universe. We use math. It's like 2 will always be 2. You know what I mean? That's there. They're like, all right, 2 is always going to be 2. What's the best fucking thing we have as a measure of anything on numbers? So that's why they say aliens are going to communicate in math, because like it's the ultimate language, math. But they're going, yo, we can divide to infinity. The fuck does that say about space? I technically shouldn't be able to touch this glass, because from the glass to my finger, say, is 5 inches. It's like, okay, well, you can divide 5 in half until infinity. The number just keeps growing. You go from 0.5 to 2.5 to 3 digits, to 4 digits, and you just keep dividing to infinity. So how the fuck, if I can show with math, our most trusted source of what's real and what isn't, math says I shouldn't be able to touch this cup, this glass, because there is infinity in between my finger and this glass. And they couldn't answer this. They were just like, fuck this. I'm going to bed, and I'm not gonna look at it for another 10 years because they can't wrap their head around it. I don't know how we got on that tangent, but there's some philosophy of math for you. Let me look at you guys' comments now because I'm sure there's probably no way in hell I'm catching up at this point. Candy Mikowski, funny you mentioned the Onion posted God admits he was in a pretty bad place while creating universe. That's fucking hilarious. Sorry, and that's like a 20-minute comment, but QHHT session where what the hell is QHHT? You guys keep bringing that up. I don't know what that is. We visited pharaohs in Egypt. They saw him as a god, and he thought it was ridiculous. Human is just so primitive in comparison. Damn, I can't remember George Carlin's opinions on religion, generally speaking, but I've seen his stand-ups, and that guy was a fucking genius. George Carlin is a fucking genius, and the way he, oh man, it was amazing. Watching his stand-ups were fucking gold. Yeah, George Carlin is a god. I would give that. The rosemary is definitely working. Yeah, it absolutely is working. It's been taking rips of this stuff. I have, side note, we made rosemary chicken the other night, but I poured the rosemary hydrosol, the shit that I make, over the chicken. Actually, no, we cut the chicken up, cooked everything, but then kind of simmered it in the hydrosol, in the rosemary water. Fuck. It was incroyable. But moving along. Yeah, I don't know if they had lunch boxes in the 1920s psych ward, but I saw one in my head. So someone must have had it. QHHT is from Dolores Cannon, past life regression technique. YouTube it, Keyth. It'll blow your mind. Dope. Yeah. The past life thing and reincarnation thing has blown my mind many a time, especially I was on a kick for probably a couple weeks listening to YouTube videos about people and past life experiences. And there's one where a child was freaked out by something, and the parents somehow found out that this kid believed he was a past life person and that he was a fighter pilot in World War II and was shot down somewhere off the coast of a Japanese occupied territory. And he even knew the name of his homie, like his best friend that he flew with, and he knew what kind of plane he flew, and he knew where he got shot down, and like all these fucking details. And he was a kid. Like, how the fuck does this kid know all this? Of course, they go to a meeting. They meet the dude who the kid was talking about, and he's a real guy with the same name, with the same fucking collaborating story of this child. And I'm just like, there's like, if you got, I know it's hard for people to wrap their head around the idea of reincarnation, and I know psychologists will write it off as, and not so many words, wishful thinking. For a human's fear of death, we create stories to make ourselves feel better about death, like God, for example, and heaven, for example. Like, I get that shit. But when you have a kid who will nail in detail the name of his plane, how it flew, the speculations of the plane, his homie that he used to fly with, like the ship that he was on, where he was shot down, who he was at war with, and all these things, And that's not the only case. There's fucking hundreds of these cases. If you don't believe that reincarnation is a thing, then holy hopscotch, Batman, I don't know what to tell you, because there's fucking undeniable proof of it. But I guess at a certain level, things become so fantastic that we it's not that we don't want to believe them, it's that we can't believe them. I almost can't believe it. I have to believe it because I'm an evidence-driven person. So when I see evidence like that, I'm like, I would be a fool not to believe it at this point. But I still can't. I'm like, what? What? No, no, I don't get it. I don't fucking believe it. Okay, yeah, that's true. Nah, I get that. I understand that. That's another thing that Hermetics talks about. We might have passed it, or we'll be coming up to it, or maybe I just fucking made it up in my head. But one of the axioms of the philosophy is, if you don't believe in reincarnation, then fucking just stop everything you're doing. Any quest for making yourself a better person, any quest for doing anything, period, other than just fucking surviving, just let it go. Because if you don't believe in reincarnation, or you think this is it when you die, then fuck, this is all mute to you. They remember being bugs, aliens, gods, stars, which are sentient. Oh, damn, I gotta check this QHHT thing out. Yeah, I gotta check this guy out. This is a nice jam we got going here. This was the vibe I was trying to catch, by the way. Woman. So, yo, you guys, everyone, do me a solid, please. Help a brother out and help me promote this video by clicking the like button right now, so that it might be too late because the video is pretty much over now. But I guess it'll help for after I post it. But yeah, click the like button so that this video gets broadcasted out among the world, and Man of Letters can grow. Ow, I just burned myself. Oh, you son of a bitch. I just dipped my arm in melted wax, and I think it more scared me than burned me. I was like, what the fuck is that? I thought I was being attacked by a fucking chupacabra or something, and it startled me, but it was just the wax. But it also hurt. Wait, what? Damn, $1,300. That's a lot. Oh, Reiki training, hell yeah, have fun out there. That's gonna be an amazing trip. All right, what up, y'all? Are we done? You guys have anything else pressing on your minds, or shall we wrap it up? What's Fred Flintstone's wife's name? You guys know? Snow. Is it Wilma? It was Wilma. Wilma Flintstone. That's too funny. So when we dream, we get downloads of information from the all. We connect to higher source. That was the first internet or Google. Oh, my tattoo? My tattoo says it's actually it's a quote from Lord of the Rings, but it's written in dwarf rune. And I'm not going to tell you guys what it says because that's why it's written in another language. If you guys want to know what it says, then you can screenshot one of my videos, look up the alphabet online, decode it, and then I will know that you'll be worthy of the conversation. Otherwise, just know that it is another language, and it's a quote from Lord of the Rings. Technically, The Hobbit. I'm glad you like the streams, Flory. Much appreciated. Feel free to share the streams on any of you guys if you're in like big ass groups too. I've been meaning to do that. One of the best ways for my channel to get bigger is to go into those big ass Facebook groups and share it. But one, I hate spamming my shit because I hate when other people spam their shit. Like when it's where it's not welcome, at least. And also don't have time. I don't have time to hit up all these groups. So if you guys want to, Wilma, that's right. He does fucking yell that. That's funny. Not random. There's no such thing as random. Remember, you guys, there is no such thing as random. Chance is how does that thing go? The Hermeticist refers to it as cause and effect, whereas the peasant calls it chance and random. No such thing. Oh, thanks, Flory. Appreciate it. I still gotta figure out what this Discord thing is. I'm not sure what Discord is. Slapping? No slapping? Cool. You made a Discord server for me? What up, Squadron Unite? How can you link me? How do I? That's cool. I got my own Discord server now, you guys. We're official. Man of Letters official. Yeah, if you aren't privy to my thoughts, it feels random. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, real talk though. I'm about to look up Discord right now. I mean, I've heard of it. I know it's a thing. I still have a Wilma pulled up on here. What is Discord? Discord is a proprietary freeware VoIP application and digital distribution platform designed for video gaming communities that specializes in text, image, and video and audio communication between users in a chat channel. Discord runs on Windows, Mac, yada 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 yada. That's cool. People ask, what is Discord used for? Oh, all right, I get it. I see you working. It's like YouTube, but a little more homies. Is that what it is? It's kind of, it seems like a really homies version of a social media, where it's just homies. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Super homies. I put the link in chat, so it's like a personal chat room. It's like a personal chat room, but like public. It seems like. Piano session. Yeah, I can't. My piano's not hooked up here. Whenever I do the piano sessions for you guys, I'm usually at my dad's house down in Ventura, where my baby grand piano is, and I can't not play it when I'm there. But here I have my digital piano, which isn't that much fun to play, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. So it's I usually leave it at the practice studio. Do I game? Fuck, do I game? Do I ever? Shit, I used to be the game master back in the day. Probably still am. If you give me a couple days, maybe a couple weeks to brush off the old rustaroonies, I would come back slain. I've already decided that when I hit like 70 years old, 80, depending upon where I'm at, I'm just going to dissolve into a virtual reality game and just fucking slay out the rest of my days as like a knight riding a dragon and some kind of fucking server somewhere. Um, how's the shop doing? The Etsy shop is amazing. I should have been making candles for you guys tonight, but I decided to go live instead because I've been fucking working all day and I didn't want to pour candles because tomorrow I have off. So tomorrow I will wake up early and pour hella candles because the shop is doing awesome. The shop is doing really well. You know how I have these my little dream drops? I'm going to come out with a second drop, same style with the spagyric. So it's like a tincture on steroids, and it's going to be made out of, you guys, it's going to be made out of Devil's Club. And Devil's Club is a fucking no joke herb out of the Pacific Northwest. Google it right now. I don't know if you guys have anything else to do tonight. It's probably late as hell. You're probably going to go to bed. But if not, or if you're watching this when this isn't live anymore, check out Devil's Club. It's a really cool, really gnarly adaptogen. An adaptogen plant. Adaptogens, think of the word adapt. So it adapts to something. The cool thing about adaptogens is if you have high blood pressure, it lowers it. If you have low blood pressure, it higher it. So it balances hormones. If it's hyperactive, it lowers. If it's underactive, it heightens. It's a potent immune system booster. Not only that, the thing is shamanistic as hell. They've been using this thing for thousands of years for all kinds of really interesting shamanic practices. It's called Devil's Club. And it's a gnarly little plant, grows like a shrub ish, not really a shrub. It grows almost like a sunflower. Like it kind of towers and has very like symmetrical leaves, and it goes up, but it has these fucking harpoons on it, like needles. And they're hypodermic, so they're hollow on the inside with toxins in them, so that breaks off in your skin and releases toxins. It's not super poisonous. It gives you like a rash, kind of like not even as bad as poison oak. But anywho, you harvest the root. and you take only you wash it, and you take the root bark, only the root bark of this plant, and it makes a really fantastic herb, medicinal, shamanic herb. Um, and this shop, basically, I've been saving up money that has everything. I haven't collected any money from the shop, you guys. I've made good money so far. All of it is going directly back into dope ass products. Like I'm literally using the money I've made from my Etsy shop. I'm paying my homie to trek. Like I need 5 pounds of this stuff to process to make a batch of this. That's the lowest I can do. So I'm sending my dude into the fucking Pacific Northwest woods to find me 5 pounds of Devil's Club root bark. Like, do you know how hard it would be to find Devil's Club 5 pounds, period? Okay, now you can't even use the whole plant. You can only use the root. Now, can you imagine how hard it is to get 5 pounds of not the root, but the root bark? So I'm just paying my dude who's just the fucking, you think I'm good with plants and knowledge about them. This dude fucking, I'm asking him questions constantly when I'm with him. I'm going to get him on the channel soon, actually, too. I've been meaning to invite him on here. Anywho, I'm paying him to go out and collect all the Devil's Club root bark for me, and we're going to bio fucking prepare, pick it at a certain part of the moon phases so that it's activated properly and distill it at proper phases just so we can make sure that we're charging this shit up with some goodness. And then I'm going to send them out to make our next Man of Letters product, which is going to be that a fucking adaptogen, heavy hitting plant from the Pacific Northwest, Man of Letters style, so we can grow the empire. But fuck, I'm hungry as hell. It's about that time at chap. Hey, you're from the Pacific Northwest, eh? Then you probably know about the Devil's Club. Yeah, exactly, Salavi Studio. It grows. That's right. You're up in Oregon? Did I get that right? Yeah, that's what my buddy was telling me. I've been wanting to get. I've had the money saved up to get this product on the market for a couple months now, but he's in Seattle proper. So the first time I asked him, he sent me a video when there was 3 feet of snow. He's like, "Bruh, I can't fucking collect shit in the snow for you." So mid-April, he said is a good time, and he's gonna head out there and get a ton of Devil's Club for us. Hey, you make stuff out of Mimosa hostilis root bark, A-Art compost. I see you working out there, Mr. Winky Eye. I know what you're up to. Oh, you dig the Anubis? Nice. Glad you like him. Clearly, I'm digging him too. Dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Oh, what? Jill, are you serious? That's hella funny. He's a cool ass dude, and he kicks it with fucking cool ass peeps. I think, I know, you would get a kick out of him. Now, I can't vouch for you. I don't know if you're a crazy person, you're someone on YouTube, and I love you guys, but some of y'all fucking crazy. So, just be cool with the peeps. But he's a cool ass dude, and I'm sure he would be fucking stoked and would love to have you come along. He lives in um Bothell, Bothell, but he's east of Seattle, um, something like that. Um, j- just hit me up on Instagram. Um, hit me up on Instagram, and I'll link you guys up. I'll link you guys up. I don't know how close you are to that, by the way, Bothell. No, he doesn't have a channel. He fucking should. He's just a gangster ass dude. He's like just a fucking gangster ass dude. He's a he grew up in NorCal, a farmer of sorts, and just fucking slays. He moved down to Santa Barbara, slayed. He's going to school at the university to become a naturopathic doctor. That's what he's doing up in Bothell. So he's up there studying herbology and plant sciences and Reiki and all of the thousand things that naturopathic doctors have to study. He's cool. He's fucking he's brilliant. He's got a good mind. Um, See, that's what I'm saying. And his squad, like all he kicks it with, they're all from that university too. Fucking herbologists and apothecarists, and that's actually where I learned about spagyric. So last time I visited Seattle, I was in Seattle like like 10 months, like 11 months ago. Fuck, it's almost been a year. And I was kicking it with all the herbology people, and they were like, "Dude, spagyric is where it's at. Sit down, take your shoes off, stay a while, listen." And we talked about this fucking shit um, that they study. It's one of the most potent forms of a tincture. It's called spagyric, and you take a plant. Normally, people would, you can make a tea out of it, or you can distill it for the essential oils, or you can eat it. Right? There's a couple of different ways you can use a plant. But what a spagyric preparation does, among other things, is it distills the plant matter into essential oil, so one of its constituents, and then you burn the remainder, the mineral salts, to ash, the other constituent, and then you ferment the plants to turn into alcohol because plants use alcohol to dissolve oils. That's how plants break oils down in themselves and move it around by creating alcohol. So you take the three basic parts of a plant: mind, body, spirit. That's the correlation, the corresponding, right? The love correspondence. Um, the essential oil, the mineral salts being the body, the physical body, the salt, right? And then the spirit being the alcohol. You separate the plant into those three parts, and then you combine them back together, right? So you have the entirety of the plant, the mind, body, and soul, but still concentrated. And that's how I made my dream drops, in case you guys are wondering. But I got this from the homies in Seattle that were like, fucking, like, I'm just a messenger. You guys think I come up with all this shit? I do not. I just have a knack for remembering really interesting, useful things and then relaying them to the masses. That's my specialty. Hearing shit out and then translating it for you guys. Finding out cool shit and then translating it for you guys. That's all I am. I'm just like a fucking translator. But there's people out there in the world fucking slaying the real geniuses of the squad. Um, so I'm stoked that you guys are a part of that. Oh, twinsies. Yeah, I think he grew up in Chico, down to SoCal, and then up there. Well, there you go. Call me Cupid. Call me Cupid, boo boo. I do what I do. You know what I mean? Do what I do. Um, cool. Dum 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 dum. Dum ba dum ba dum ba dum. Did just become single. I mira muy chingon. Just became single. Oh, you guys are too funny. Cool. So what up, y'all? Be good? We done? I don't have work tomorrow, so like, I ain't got shit to do. What up? I mean, I have my work, um, but you know what I mean. Dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum. Puzzle solver, I take it you're Mexican. Mira muy chingón, take two cars. Mira un pinche Ford Explorer, take two cars. Why don't you fill it up with gas también? That's too funny. Some good old John. Mira muy chingón, take two cars. That's too funny. Spilled a bunch of wax on the desk. I'm trying to peel this shit off. I'm not feeling this fucking jam right here. I need, you know what I need, you guys? I need a secretary. Like, not like someone who helps me do shit. I mean, a fucking secretary. I'm like, hey, write this down. And they go, sure, done. They go, hey, coffee. And they go, boom, already made it with almond milk, no sugar, just how you like it. And I'm like, thanks. That's what I need. I need one of those. I need two of those. I need one for me and I need one for my secretary. So they can be like, hey, chocolate milk. And they're like, boom, with the cherry on top. And like, thank you. How'd you know? And they're like, oh, it's because I'm your secretary. And the secretary goes, oh yeah, no shit. That's why we hired you. That's what I need. I need some of that. I just have too much shit going on. And it's all amazing. And it all has to come to fruition. And I need help. I need a sec. And I just want to say that I had a secretary because that'd be kind of dope. Like, oh, I could actually say, hey, you're gonna have to check in with my secretary and mean it. And them not be like, oh, ha ha ha, secretary. And I'm like, no, dog, for real. His name is John. He's homies. Damn, like wax everywhere. Eyes for the Devil's Club. It's not coming soon. You guys will be updated with the Devil's Club for sure. That's gonna be a fun one. Well, I'll definitely document that one. Oh, all right. Secretary's name is not John. It's Jill. Oh, have your peoples, come my peoples, and then we'll do lunch on Chaboy. Yes, that would be great. A barista. That's too funny. All right, Jill, you're hired. You got the job. Nailed it. Nailed it. Oh man. This guy might head to the taco truck real soon. Because the taco truck is fire. I bet you that guy has an assistant. My question is, do you have to have a certain amount of money before you can get an assistant? Or do you have to get an assistant before you can obtain a certain amount of money? See, what's really going to cook your noodle later on is whether or not you'd have broked it in the first place if I hadn't have said anything. I think, see, puzzle solver. See, it all makes sense. This is why your name is Puzzle Solver, because you just have all the fucking answers. You're right. You definitely need tacos. The key to success is tacos. I just happen to be the taco master, which is why I think I'm pretty successful. Because I'm just me and tacos are like this. You know what I mean? Look up a picture of taco on the internet. You'll see my face eating tacos on the front page. Shout out to the SEO. Trinkets and candles and potions as payment. Well, if there's anything I do, it's trinkets and candles and potions. So we can definitely make that happen. And tacos. Yes, and tacos. Dum ba dum ba dum 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 ba dum ba dum ba dum. Okay, everybody. That seems to be it. Thank you guys for joining the squad. Thanks for sharing your presence. Thanks for being homies. Appreciate you guys being here. Said it once, I say it 1,000 times. You could be anywhere, but you're not. You're here. Well, I guess here is somewhere. So you are anywhere in that you're here, and I thank you for that because you could be anywhere else. And that means a lot, and it helps a lot. And thanks. Appreciate it. Yes, catch you guys next time. Catch you on the flip side. Smash that like button. Button. If you guys are new, any new squadron in here, fucking join the squad. We're having a good time. Why would you not? Smash the subscribe button too. Say what up, by the way. Join the fuck. There's a Discord for the channel. Join the Discord. Someone put it in the comment section when the video posts, the actual comment, not the chat, so people like know where to find it. That would be nice. And yeah. That's all, you guys. Thanks.